I think we have some cartridge hypocrisy going on. We're gonna have to call it out. Call it out.
Make sure you like and subscribe. Now, let's get the video started.
Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Welcome to me cleaning up the game room a little bit, the weekly clean. You have to dust it, you have to maintain it. And I wanted to talk about this cartridge hypocrisy going on here, because there's there's opinions out there that the new Intellivision Sprint isn't good enough, should have a cartridge slot, yada yada yada, like the 7800, like the repros. Should we or shouldn't we be supporting a device that is not complete? Some people don't believe in supporting a company before they actually produce something that they ultimately want. Well, these companies don't get there. Atari didn't get there. Wouldn't have gotten there if we wouldn't have bought this. If we wouldn't have gotten the first VCS that they put out, right? If we wouldn't have bought that product, there would have been no 7800s. There wouldn't have been any of the stuff that came afterwards. It all started with this. And, the reason I support it, the reason many people support it, is because we want to see Atari come back. We have another situation here where they're trying to reestablish a brand, because one of the things that people forget is you did have one Tommy Tallarico out there for 7 years, right? Blasting the Intellivision name into Kingdom Come, and just the branding itself. I mean, did you forget that the brand itself became toxic? I never thought they would put anything out. I didn't think they were I thought maybe they would sell it and somebody would buy it and produce games. Did I ever think that after the Amico we would ever get any hardware? No, maybe like another plug and play or something like that. But here we are, a new product, right? And if you are a person who never bought into the Intellivision Amico, if you're a person who never said, I'm not even going to support this product because I only want the original Intellivision, I got you, right? I can see where you're coming from. I absolutely agree with you. You want hardware that plays the original, gotcha. That's what you want, no problem. But if you were willing to support this, right? If you were willing to support these boxes, a code in a box with a lot of plastic, and now are complaining about the Sprint, come on, man. Come on. Now, first of all, we're lucky to even get any console, for starters, right? And for me, this is a good start, right? Not everybody's the same, but it would be hypocritical of me to say, oh yeah, I bought these games because I wanted the Intellivision to succeed back in the day, even though it wasn't cartridge based, and me to sit right now and go, oh no, if I can't play, all my stuff, then I can't support this. I would be a complete hypocrite if I said that. I want Intellivision to come back. I want retro recharge games to come back, right? And the reason I support the company is not because I support Atari is not because I want something eventually from them. I want them to succeed so they can produce more products, yes. But nobody, absolutely nobody's going to produce any Intellivision hardware if there's no money in it. Right? You have to show that there's some interest. Would I buy like a 7800, like a 2600 plus, like I did with Pac-Man, if it was Intellivision? Yeah, absolutely. Right? But there's two ways to go. Imagine if they would have crowdfunded this. You can't do it. You can't crowdfund hardware for Intellivision again. That ship has sailed and it was burned down to the ground, right, by Intellivision Entertainment and the Amico. That ship is gone. So this is the best you could. This is the best you could hope for at this point, right? And I'm telling you, as a business person, if they ask me, should we make an Intellivision hardware product, even though I'm happy for it, right? If if I was in the office and somebody came to me with this proposition, I would say absolutely not. Absolutely not. You have a toxic brand here. Let's clean it up a little bit. Let's release a couple of games people can play, right? Maybe on their 7800s. Let's release some games. Let's do, the Night Stalker. Let's do Cloudy Mountain. Let's see how people respond to that. And once we have a better image of the Intellivision brand, then if we have enough interest from people, when you hear the clamoring, then maybe, right? Because we can't crowdfund this, right? People already lost, $16 million, whatever the hell it was. So they're not going to want to crowdfund a new set of hardware, right? But you have to start somewhere. And does it make business sense for Atari to do this? No, I think this is more of a passion project from people inside of Atari. Because given the history, let me tell you, given the history, the recent history of Intellivision, I don't see any business analyst recommending to do this. They would say baby steps. There's people are saying that this is baby steps. No, baby steps would have been releasing Night Stalker, releasing Cloudy Mountain, and see how that does, drum up business, and then eventually maybe release a console like this. And again, if you are a person who never supported the Amico, who has always been into the physical hardware, no problems with that. You're standing on business, great. But if you were for this, and now you're hemming and hawing about, I don't know, I don't think I could do that. It's just, I can't bring my games over. I can't play my games. Come on, man. What was this going to be? I mean, this was nostalgia. It's kind of, whatever. But it was in a code in a box. These weren't carts. They're not carts now. They're not even playable. Right? So I think, right, in my point of view, the reason I'm going to support it is because I want Atari to know that there's interest in Intellivision, that there's interest in the hardware of Intellivision. And if this sells well, make no bones about it. If they, produce 10,000 units and sell them out and they make $1.5 million, are they going to make an Intellivision Plus, whatever they want to call it? Yes, absolutely. At some point, and now speaking as a business analyst, you have to look at the business propositions, risk assessment, and you have to do evaluations. You have to do EVM, risk assessments, or what have you. What would be in Atari's best interest? Would it be to have a uniform cartridge for everything? Think about that. It would lower production costs, right? But that would mean you would need an adapter to play your Intellivision games. Could you have in the future a unified system? Maybe, probably online. It wouldn't make sense to make all this hardware. But I think this is a first step, guys. I think given the business model that Atari has done before, they're going to produce, a version that's only, online, USB based. Not exactly what you wanted, but it's getting there, right? And then after that, produce the other systems based on the interest that people see. But to be demanding right now, right off the bat, after this whole debacle, to produce a hardware for a brand that it's just toxic right now, after what happened for the last 8 years, I think we should be more than grateful. I mean, I'm really happy for the US brand. You saw my video. I was gung-ho because that's all ever, the Amico had to do. Intellivision Entertainment just had to produce this machine. If they would have produced this machine back then, if Intellivision would have produced the Intellivision Sprint back then, we would be talking about a completely different company. They still would have ran it into the ground because they're all incompetent. They don't know what the hell they're doing, right? Business-wise, they have they have no business sense, right? If the bean counters, if we're doing assessment on Intellivision back then, and I was on the assessment team, let me tell you, 90% of the people would have been fired or repositioned somewhere else. Right? And you have Atari here, which is a serious company that does follow business principles, that in this case is taking a chance on the Intellivision brand. If it succeeds, great. We're going to see more Intellivision products. That I can guarantee you. And with a buzz of this thing so far, I can see it selling out. And if it does sell out, I promise you that the hardware that you're yearning for will come out. Right? But to say, right, not to start criticizing the product before it even comes out and criticize it for not being able to load in your cartridges when you were supporting something like this, nah, man. That is cartridge hypocrisy. All right, humans, I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
Hey guys, thank you for watching. Hey, you made it this far, you might as well subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button and join if you can.